Everybody, let's talk about diffusing around pets and how it can be beneficial to people who take care of a lot of animals, maybe are managing herd health or have a training facility or pet boarding or animal sheltering, or anything where you have multiple pets in one home even. So I want to discuss this. If you're new to my broadcast, my name is Jamie Casarda. I am your holistic pet mentor. I like to bridge that gap between the information you're getting from your veterinarian and holistic home care. We want to teach you some ways you can support your pets at home. And I have a special place in my heart for animal shelters and rescues and just anybody who's in that position to take care of a lot of animals at once, because that's in my background as well. All right. So let's get to it. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replay. I wanted to share with you guys, I was at the animal shelter earlier, actually it was the end of last week, and the animal shelter in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania has a very awesome executive director named Connie Woody, and she's actually from Germany and has a background understanding natural and holistic practices, because in Germany it's pretty standard, it's pretty normal to take a more integrative approach to your healthcare, and she didn't see why it would be any different here, but she found out real quickly that we're more of the pill for every ill type society. So that is changing, right? That is changing, folks. So she was very open to doing whatever is necessary to take care of the health and welfare of the animals from whatever means is going to be safest and in their best interest. And the animal shelter here is it's the first green animal shelter in Pennsylvania. So really proud of the work that they do and what they've accomplished over there. So I wanted to share with you guys because they've been diffusing essential oils. I introduced essential oils to them and the concept of diffusing to help support the cat's health. We started doing that about 3 years ago. And I just wanted to give you an update to let you guys know how that's going and what they've noticed works best. And if you're a person who works in rescue or sheltering, or maybe you have a pet grooming business or a veterinary office, if you guys have a lot of animals that you're trying to manage all at once, some of us just have our own small herds in our house. I used to. I'm down to a cat and a hamster, but at one point I did have quite a few. So I wanted to share this with you because it could make a huge difference in those animals' lives and help save them. And that's what I love to do, right? So I asked her a few questions such as, are you still diffusing in the cat isolation? And let me describe the cat isolation room for you a little bit. It was actually, the size was, and I helped with the shelter. That's how I know. I helped design this shelter and fundraise for it. So when we considered the size of the room based on the concept that we were going to have kitty cubbies built in with their own air ventilation. So it didn't matter that the room was going to be smaller because each unit would be like its own little room for each cat. And so we wouldn't have to worry about cats sneezing and spreading disease to each other. It also was supposed to have a system where if you're cleaning one side of the cage, instead of having the cat roam around, they would be in a different part of their little cubby, and that way we wouldn't have that kind of disease transmission that way either, where the cats were possibly spreading ringworm or and any kind of upper respiratory by going up to other cages. So that was the concept. However, the cost of that concept, thank you so much for joining, for those of you who are joining on live, the cost of that concept was really, really high. In fact, we needed to raise an additional $350,000 in order to make that happen. It's been several years now. They've been in there a long time. They kind of given up on the hope that we would get those cat cubbies. I haven't given up on the hope. I'm still hopeful one day that'll be a new project to take on. But they ended up with an issue by not doing it, by not moving forward and raising the additional funds. They ended up with the issue of being in the same situation that we were in the old building, which is open cages and a small room and cats that were spreading upper respiratory infection to each other and other types of viruses because they had that close contact. And you would have one sick cat come in, and you had healthy cats or new kittens coming in, and the stress of the environment, and it would just create this really bad condition for new cats. And I understand, hey, Veronica, I understand, like, this is a common problem in animal sheltering. While I was at the animal shelter, back when I worked there as the director, I got to tour several animal shelters all around the area, ones that had been totally renovated, some that had partial renovations, some that were brand new, some that were old and needed renovations. And I just interviewed everybody to see, like, what's working for you? What do you think would be ideal in your shelter? What doesn't work at all, right? Like, what's the worst thing a shelter could do? And we took all that information and we put it into this building and have a pretty awesome place. However, we all struggle with the financial issue and the issue of cats. Cats getting sick, we realize how fragile they are, especially if they feel stressed and they're all being fed dry kibble, right? And they have other cats near them that they can smell, and they come in diseased oftentimes. And so how do you manage that? How do you manage the herd health? Now, a lot of the information I'm going to share with you, this can be used for dogs too. So dogs in a kennel type environment where it's open and they can see other dogs and they can smell other dogs, and there's that possibility of kennel cough being spread back and forth. This is something that can be used in any type of setting like that. So I just wanted to make you aware. The reason I'm not bringing it up in the context of the animal shelter is because our current animal shelter, the way it was designed, remember I talked about the single cubbies? Well, the dogs got it. So the dogs got the special dog dens, and they're fantastic, and it works really, really well. They're little rooms. Each dog gets their own room. And so that works out really nice, and they don't have problems with disease with dogs, right? And it reduces their stress. So we know it works, and those dogs get adopted super fast. Cats, though, we're still working on trying to figure out what evokes people's hearts to go ahead and just adopt one of those cats, right? And sometimes the setting makes all the difference, but we want them to be healthy first and foremost. So the first thing that you should all know, these cats are in a small room. They're in cages. There can be anywhere from 40 to 50 cats in the room at one time. Sometimes there's multiple kittens in one unit, and the cages are open. And so we have been diffusing around cats, and now it's different cats as they get spayed and neutered. It could be a couple weeks that they're in there, and then they're off to adoption, or they're off to a foster home, or they're off to Petco or PetSmart for the adoption centers over there where we have volunteers manage, or they're out and about in the community trying to find homes for them. So just so you know, that's how it works. It's a rotation type system. So these are the things that Connie has learned over the years. Essential oils are amazing for the health and welfare when you're trying to manage herd health with the cats. Okay, so she has seen a marked improvement, significant marked improvement in overall respiratory health when they are diffusing. They even tried to take a period of time off when they weren't diffusing, and she said they quickly started having the same old problems again, where one sick cat would come in, and then now you have a room full of sick cats. So they started diffusing again. She said sometimes they would stop diffusing because there would be somebody in the staff that would forget to put the diffuser on, or maybe didn't like the smell of a certain oil that they were supposed to be diffusing while cleaning. And so she said staff compliance was a big issue, and if she could give advice to anyone in making those choices, is to make sure that the people who are cleaning, the volunteers and the staff, are going to be open to the oils and let them smell and let them have some choice in which oils they're going to diffuse while they're working, just so that it's pleasant for them and that they'll comply. Because if they don't actually put the oils in, then the cats aren't going to benefit, right? So we have to make sure that they overcome that challenge and just make sure the staff understands the why behind it, so that they're not like, oh, we're just doing it because it's smelly, but that they truly understand that this is to promote the health and well-being of the cats in that room or the animals in that room. We're not just doing it for a good aroma. And so we just got to make sure that it is being done. And so if it's not being done, we could have an outbreak of a virus, and that's really concerning. So I thought that was a really good point, is to make sure that your team's on board. She also said that it was important to use at least 3 to 5 drops. She was telling everyone to put 5 drops in their 24-hour diffuser. That's a really dilute ratio, everybody. It's super dilute. And she said that sometimes they were only putting like 1 or 2 drops in a 24-hour diffuser. And she said that it would still help, but that 5 drops is actually ideal when you're diffusing in a 24-hour diffuser. 5 drops in a 24-hour diffuser. And you can do more than that, just so you know. You could do 4 drops, 3 to 4 drops every 4 to 6 hours. And they are way they're way beyond that. They're not diffusing anywhere close to what you could safely diffuse. So just so you know, 5 drops in a 24-hour diffuser is what she said had been the best ratio at keeping the cats healthy. She also noticed that the humidity was super important. So she said if the humidity was too low, they would make sure that the diffuser was going, because sometimes that was part of the issue. The humidity would drop because there's no diffuser. And then they would add in a humidifier. They said having the cat isolation be between 40 and 50% humidity is best. When they had that kind of humidity for the cats, their sinuses stay moist, they have less inflammation, they just overall seem to be breathing better and have less disease. If you go higher than 50% humidity in the room, and you can get little devices to measure that humidity, some thermostats will have that on there. If you go higher than that, it starts to cause problems. It starts to be too moist, okay? If you go lower than that 40%, then that becomes too dry for the cats, and then their sinuses get super irritated. So she wanted to make sure we were aware of that. So there you go. The oils that they rotate the most for cats. This might be surprising to you. Okay, lavender, oregano, on guard, arborvitae, and juniper berry. So those are the oils that they've been rotating. And so we initially, when we talked about diffusing, we had talked about like maybe picking 1 oil a week that they're going to diffuse. But I think they rotate it even more now, where they might diffuse lavender one day and arborvitae another. So there you go. I think that is really reassuring that it's working. It's working, and I'm super grateful for the Cumberland Valley Animal Shelter sharing with us what they have learned about diffusing and the cat isolation, what kind of benefits they've seen, if they've seen any negative things, which they haven't. They haven't had any cats have poor health outcomes from diffusing around them. Now, I want to be super specific. I want to be super clear. We diffuse only doTERRA essential oils in that cat isolation. Now, will this be the same outcome for any oil? No. I am confident that if you picked a synthetic oil and diffused it around the cats, you could have a negative outcome. So the purity and the potency and the quality of that essential oil is the key to using essential oils safely. Now, this is proven in research, but now we even have that firsthand experience using it with literally thousands of cats that come through the animal shelter every single year. And it also explains why that I can diffuse pretty consistently over the last 6 years in front of my senior cat and see positive results from that. So I wanted to reassure you guys. I know the people who follow me here know I'm a big proponent of utilizing essential oils with our pets and diffusing around our cats and using them for their health needs, because honestly, think about what other options are there, safer options? Because what the shelter was doing before diffusing was giving them antibiotics, which is not cost effective, not great for their gut health at all, right? And leading to more chronic health issues. And all around, it was not good for the shelter. It wasn't good for the animals, and long term, it wasn't good at all. And so we weren't saving as many lives, and we were trying to utilize all this medication, very expensive medication. Whereas the oils are pennies per drop. In fact, I donate the oils to the shelter. They, like I said, they're only using 5 drops in a 24-hour period. Each bottle has about 250 to 300 drops in it, right? So it's lasting them quite a while. So if you have any questions about diffusing for herd health, let me know, and I can help you get started with that. So, all right, everybody, it's been 15 minutes. Take care. Have a great day. And I hope this helps you all.